Every local business has a soul. This series uncovers the passion and purpose behind our community's local legends. This is the Heart of Rexburg.
This is Peter, a Rexburg local who helps countless people get their check back. His business, MYPCER, is a lot more than a repair shop. It's a place where you're truly taken care of. Today, we're diving deep to find out why he started his business, the hardest lessons he's learned, and why he believed supporting local is the key to our community's success. We were just talking about your business and its journey, but I want to go back to the beginning. What's the real behind-the-scenes story of why you started MYPCER?
So I was a college student, and I was looking for some help with a computer problem that I couldn't figure out. I was looking for a solution, and I went around to all of the shops in town, and all but one of them told me what I was trying to accomplish wasn't possible. And the one that told me it was possible, agreed that it was possible, wasn't really interested in helping me out. Told me it was a bad idea and wasn't worth doing. But if it's something that you want to do, there may be better options, but let's discuss the options instead of just saying, no, that's a bad idea, don't do it. So over the years, I saw that didn't change. And shops started closing, and it's like, well, people need a place that they can trust and is gonna, take those odd requests, or actually take the time to figure out what it is that you truly need, instead of, look at you at first glance and say, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna bother.
You've met so many people since you opened, but is there a customer you'll never forget? And what happened that made it so special?
Several years ago, we had a lady that she came in clutching her computer, and she's like, and she's in tears as she's walking up the stairs, clutching this computer in tears, and decide, and I was like, okay, what can we do for you? What's going on? Like, obviously something traumatic. And anyway, she was an author and had published several books, but was working on a couple more, and her computer crashed, and completely unresponsive, not booting, and everything. She had, at some point, she had everything backed up, but was going through a nasty divorce, and all of the backups were in a storage unit that her husband basically controlled, and she couldn't get to. So everything is on this computer. Because at that point, due to the situation, her backups were basically non-existent. And everything, her life, is on this computer. And we were able to get it all back. And she, I don't know that I've seen anybody so happy to have a working computer again. But because it's rarely about the computer. Computers are replaceable, but the data is what's really important. And I mean, unfortunately, not all situations end on that same note. Like sometimes the data is gone, but every time somebody has some major sentimental information that we're able to extract, and they're like, I've been holding on to this for 10 years with the hopes that, you know, maybe one day. And when they're able to look at those photos, when they're able to look back at those things, like that is, that's cool.
That is exactly what this series is about, these moments of connection. What is your absolute favorite part about serving the people in this community?
You know, seeing the excitement of people, you know, getting their data back, but at the same time, like, I enjoy a challenge. We had one lady come in several years back. She had an old, she brought in a hard drive, just the hard drive. She said, I had my parents save it when they threw the computer away because it has an old, like it's a snake game that I really like, and it's like they don't make it anymore and I can't find it, but it's on this computer. But with the old computers, you couldn't just take the hard drive and pop it into another computer and have it work. You had to have the computer, and all she had was a hard drive. And I told her, like, if you can get me like the exact same computer, like same specs, same hardware, then we might be able to get it to work. And anyway, so she, like 3 days to a week later, she brought me in a desktop that she was pretty sure was the same thing. And it ended up not being the same, but it was close enough that I was able to get the operating system installed on the computer she brought in, and then take basically the operating system and program files from her computer, from her hard drive, and merge the two into a bootable system, and she was able to get her snake game. But she was pregnant, like there's nostalgia, and she was just but the challenge was doing something again that, you know, it took way too many hours, like, and from a business standpoint was definitely not worth the time it took. But to be able to say, hey, you know, we did that, and you know, she got her game back. She got, you know, she was able to relive her childhood, you know, through this game that she loved growing up.
But building a business on passion alone isn't easy. What's the single hardest lesson you've learned as a local business owner?
There's a couple things come to mind. In an environment that's constantly changing, constantly evolving, both from a hardware and software standpoint, we end up like it's a lot to stay on top of. It's a lot of, like, I can only keep up on so much of the changes, and so I need technicians who know what they're doing and can keep up on the changes. And it's just, everything is changing so fast that sometimes that's a real challenge.
Now let's talk about something bigger. From your perspective, why is a support local mindset so critical for the health of a town like Rexburg?
Community is family, whether you like it or not. Like whether you agree with that or not, you're living in the same place. You're, sharing the same food. We're all in this area together. And like anytime, when we're supporting local, when we're buying local, like you really have it. You're helping each other out. It's not a, it's kind of that, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, but at the same time, you're dealing with local people. And I like to think that we care, about you. We're invested in making sure that your devices are running the best as possible. That, you're not dealing with some corporation out of who knows where that, oh, we couldn't fix it. Sorry. We'll take, we'll go the extra mile to make sure that we've tested all options. And back to the previous story, like some of them don't make sense. Like, financially, it doesn't make sense that I spend an extra hour trying another couple options in hopes that it works. And then when it doesn't, we end up with either a minimal fee or no fee at all that we end up charging the customer. So, we look at it as, you're part of the community. I want to bump into you at Problems. I want to bump into you, at the fair, somewhere, at the park and say, hey, how's it going? I don't need to be, you don't need to invite me over to your barbecue. But, just be able to interact with the community because we're all in this together. We're, whether we like it or not, we all chose to live here, so we might as well get along. We might as well support each other.
And looking ahead 5 years, how do you hope your business and our community will have grown together?
I'd say I'd like to see a lot more awareness, just in general, of what the options and what the possibilities are. Because, we mentioned before, there's these places that they just don't have a clue that something was fixable. I have a friend that his printer wasn't working. He chucked it out the window of his second story apartment and went and bought another one. And he told me what it was doing. I was like, oh, that was like, probably just needed to restart it. Like, and he goes, that was it? Like, most likely, so just have a little more, it's education and understanding that, things are fixable, things are repairable. Whether you bring it to me or somebody else, that's not the issue. It's just, let's work together to fix things as opposed to just this throwaway society that we seem to be in. And, some things, there's some things that make sense to upgrade, and there's things that, with just a little bit of maintenance are going to be just as good or better than a new one. So just, I'd say education. Education and awareness would be my biggest goal, or biggest hope for the future.
That's exactly our goal, to be a true partner to help tell the amazing stories of people like you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
To get exclusive deals and unlock even more of the story behind your community, visit our website and check out the business owners that make your community so amazing and discover the best of Rexburg. We'll see you next week for our next interview with another amazing Rexburg business.